Okay, so we were given weekly wages of 1,000 workers, and they are following the normal distribution. Okay, and the mean was mentioned 70 rupees, and the standard deviation of rupees 5 was given to us. Okay, we were supposed to estimate the number of workers whose weekly wages will be between 70 and 72, then 69 and 72, more than 75. We did more than 75 as well. That was the last thing which we were looking at when we stopped the meeting or the meeting got over. Okay, there were two more which was remaining. That was less than 63. Okay, and the last one is a bit interesting, which says also estimate the lowest weekly wages of the 100 highest paid workers. Okay, as we saw the answers also, so I'll show you the answer for the first two, and then you can try solving the fourth one, the third one, and the fourth one. If you have done the third one also, so we will see the answers here. Okay, so let us denote denote the weekly wages in rupees. Okay, and the mean is given. The M is equal to 70, and your sigma standard deviation is taken as 5. Now your standard normal variate can be written like this. So the formula becomes Z equal to X minus 70 upon 5. That will be the formula. So for different values of salaries, like 70 and 72 in the first case, the value of Z1 and Z2 need to be found. And if you remember, the values were 0 and 0.4. So we had got this using the formula, we got these two values. So for X1 equal to 70, we got 0, and for X2, where the value was 72, we got Z2 equal to 0.4. Okay. Then we use the formula, the probability formula, and using the table, the standard normal distribution table, we got the value as 0.1554. Okay. Then we multiplied this by 1,000 to get the answer. So therefore, the probability that the workers will have weekly wages between 70 and 72, okay, was 0.155, and the number of workers multiplied by 1,000 gave us 155. Okay, that was we did not take the decimal places, so the answer should be written as 155. Okay, so this was the solution for the first one. Then comes the second question, which says that the wage is between 69 and 72. Okay, we already know the value for Z2 for 72, which is 0.4. So we need to calculate the value for 69, the value of the variate. And for 69, it came to minus 0.2. Okay, that means my shaded area will be in the negative zone as well. So one line will come in the negative zone. If I look at the picture, you'll find that one line at negative zone for minus 0.2 will cross over to the positive zone, and there'll be one line for 0.4. So that shaded area we are supposed to find the probability for. Okay, we use the formula here. So for probability of between 69 and 72, we can write it as, in terms of the standard variate, as minus 0.2 less than equal to Z less than equal to 0.4. Okay, and this can be further, because if you remember the property of symmetry, okay, your minus 0.2 can be written as P into bracket 0 less than equal to Z less than equal to 0.2. Okay, because the negative side can be also represented using the positive side or the other side. So we wrote this function like this, and using symmetry we got this final answer here. So probability of value of Z between 0 and 0.2 plus the probability of the value of Z between 0 and 0.4. Now again, referring to the table, okay, we got the value, and the answer came to 0.2347. Again, taking this probability, I can multiply it by 1000 to give me the answer as 234.7. Now, because it's 0.7, we rounded up and we can take the answer as approximately 235. Okay, so the answer was 235, the number of workers with wages between 69 and 72. Okay. Then was the third part where we actually stopped. Actually, it was like finding the probability that the wages are more than rupees 75. So we have to find P into bracket X greater than equal to 75. Now we can represent this in terms of Z. So it will become 75 minus 70 divided by 5. So that will be 5 divided by 5, which equals to 1. So there's something in chat. Okay, 158.7. Okay, and right, Harsh, we got that answer. So if you look at the answer for this, we got X greater than equal to 75, which can be represented in terms of Z, which was greater than equal to 1. Now, when we say greater than equal to 1, we can write it as P into bracket 1 less than equal to Z. Less than equal to, please do one thing, do not write less than equal to your infinity, write less than infinity. Okay, please write less than infinity instead of less than equal to. That sounds better. Now this whole thing can be represented here, and you know that 1 of the half is 0.5. Okay, so if I go 0.5 minus 0.3413 gives you 0.1587. Okay, so the answer given by you all is right. And when we multiply this by 100, 1000, approx value will be 159. Okay, so there are 159 workers having wage greater than 75. Okay, now coming to the fourth one, where we had said we wanted to find out wage less than 63. Okay, that was the question. So please start doing this. The value of Z will come as 63 minus 70 divided by 5, which will give me minus 1.4. Okay, and always try to draw the graph, the curve, and you can plot the lines so that it becomes easy for you to write the probability equation. Okay, so for value of 63, I get Z as minus 1.4. That means 1/2, you can say, is, so there's some answer. Advaid, 0.080. Okay. Fine, Advaid, that is one of the answers. And if you go up to 4 decimal places, it will be 0.0808. Okay, and when we multiply this by 1000, and we have to round it up. So instead of writing 80 workers, the answer will be approximately 81 workers. So Harsh, I think Harsh is given the answer as 80.8. That can be, please rewrite it as 81. So there are 81 workers in total whose salaries are below or wage below 63. Okay. So those who are still doing it can note down the answer from the screen here. Okay, you can write it like this. Okay, your answer is coming to 0.0808. Multiply this by 1000, and we get approx value as 81. Okay. Now please give a try to the last one. And now last one is a bit interesting. It's not directly we have to use the values and find the answer. But if you look at the question, it says that estimate the lowest weekly wages of the 100 highest paid workers. Okay, so if I want to find out the probability for 100 highest paid workers out of 1000, it is very simple. I can just write 100 divided by 1000, that gives you 0.1. Okay, and if let us say we take X1 as the lowest weekly wages of the 100 highest paid workers, then it will be like a property of X greater than equal to X1, because X1 is also a part of that 100 workers, right? So we can write P into bracket X greater than equal to X1 is equal to 100 divided by 1000. Now 100 divided by 1000 will give me 0.1. We are actually supposed to find the value of X1, right? We are supposed to find the value of X1. So now start using your brains and try to solve this problem. You're also supposed to find the value of Z1. Once you find the value of Z1, you have to refer to the table in the reverse order, the table of the standard normal curve. Okay, in the reverse order, you are supposed to refer to get the actual value of X1. And you already know the formula. Now this formula will be used like Z1 equal to X1 minus 70 divided by 5. This you are supposed to use while actually calculating the value once we find the value for Z1. Okay, please give a try, and if you have the answer, you can post it. Okay, did anyone found the value for Z1 at least? You can tell me the answer for Z1. Or the probability, you can say probability of into bracket 0 less than equal to Z, or Z less than equal to Z1. If you have found the probability, you can tell me. Okay, no answers yet. Fine, I'll explain you how to do such type of problems. Okay, if you look at the question again, they have said for the top 100 highest paid workers, okay, in total 1000. So the proportion of 1000 highest paid workers in total of 1000 workers will be how much? It will be 0.1. Okay, and if we take X1 are the, let us say X1 are the lowest weekly wages of 100 highest paid workers, then we can write that P into bracket X greater than equal to X1 equal to 0.1. Okay, let me show you in the slide itself. So here it is, the proportion of 1000 highest paid workers in total 1000 workers, as I told you, will be 0.1. Okay, so 100 divided by 1000. Now, if you take X1 are the lowest weekly wages of the 100 highest paid workers, then we have to find X1. Okay, we are supposed to actually find X1, the value of X1. So we can write P into bracket X greater than equal to X1 equal to 0.1. Now represent or change the value of P into bracket X greater than equal to X1 in terms of the variate Z. Okay. So X will become Z and X1 will be written as Z1. Okay. What is the formula? You know the formula for finding out the value of Z1. Z1 is equal to X1 minus 70 divided by 5. Isn't it? So this formula has to be remembered. Please remember this formula, because we'll be using this further. Now to find this, we can represent z in terms of x, like p into bracket z greater than equal to z1, which will give me 0.1, which can be written like this. So this can be written in this form. Okay. Now this has to be represented in two forms, including zeros, the halves. Now if you say it is 0.1, that means it is lying on the positive side. Okay. It is lying on the positive side and not the negative side. Okay. So the area lying on the right hand side, you can say, of z, of, or you can say 0, because the center, is always 0. Clear? Now we can represent that as here p z less than equal to z less than equal to infinity. Makes sense? Because it is on the right hand side, the positive side. I can write it as z1 less than equal to z, okay, and it is less than equal to infinity, which is equal to 0.1. This can be further broken down into p into bracket 0 less than equal to z less than infinity minus, that is the full area, 0.5. Okay, so 0.5 minus the property of z lying between 0 and z1. Okay, this whole thing is given as 0.1. So finally what happens? I get the answer like this. I get property of the value z, that is the area between 0 and z1 is 0.5 minus 0.1. This should be 0.1. There's an error here. This should be 0.1 is equal to 0.4. Okay. Once we get this value, okay, if that means it is 0.4 will be near the tail value, you can say, of the positive side. So if you represent this in the form of a graph, you'll find that the shaded area will be the tail part and not the part near 0. Now we can move this further and we'll be reading this in the backward position. So if you remember the table, okay, go back to the table. If you want, I can show you the table as well here. And when you refer to the table in the reverse order, the value of z1 will be approximately equal to 1.28. If you want, I can show you. Let us go back. So I'll just go back to the table which we had. Well, the table on, I think it's before this. Losing my patience. Yeah, here it is. Right? Now we got 0.4. Okay. So if I refer to 0.4 in the reverse order in the table, so you have to see the values here in this table. So which is the nearest one? So we have 0.3944 and so on. So when we go here, now we have two values here. You can see this 0.3997 and we also have 0.4015. Okay. But if you look at carefully, this is going beyond 4 by 0.0015, and we just require 0.0003 to round it up to 4. So I'll prefer taking this value. So this value is 1.2. okay, under the column 0.08. So that becomes 1.28. And that is how I got 1.28. I hope it is clear. Okay, those who do not have this table, please take a screenshot of this so that we can refer to this table again and again. Okay, I understood how I got 1.28. So coming back to that problem, let us come back. Okay, that was the last question. Okay, once we get this value 1.28, okay, we have to represent or replace this value into the function z1 equal to x1 minus 70 upon 5, because we are supposed to actually find the value of x1. Okay, so if I represent this value in this function, okay, so we can solve this. X1 minus 70 equal to 1.28 multiplied by 5. Now minus 70 goes on the other hand side. Okay, it becomes plus 70. Fine. So what will be the answer? The answer is coming to 76.4. Okay. So what is the required lowest wage or the salary among the top 100 highest paid, you can say, employees or workers? It is rupees 76.40. That is the answer. Okay. Any doubts here? Especially how we refer to the reverse order, this one. Okay. First of all, we are supposed to find out, because this property is already given to us. Solving this is more important. Okay. And understanding where the point lies, or where the line is going to be, whether it's on the negative side or on the positive side, even that matters. Because depending on that, I'll be either performing 0.5 plus or minus. Okay. So this minus which we have done is because it's on the positive side. Clear? Let us take one more example. So take down this question again. So we have one example here. So we have in a sample of 1000 scores. Okay, the mean of a certain test. So there's some exam is 14. Mean is given as 14. M, we can write M equal to 14. And the standard deviation, that is sigma, equal to 2.5. Okay, assuming the normal distribution to be normal, find some questions are given. So how many students have scored between 12 and 15? There are two, three more questions, total 4 questions. How many scored above 18? Below 8? And how many scored 16? Now the last one is interesting. The top 3, I think first 3 questions, you'll be able to do it on your own. Please give a try and tell me the answers. Now the mean is given to us 14, M is 14, okay, and standard deviation is 2.5. So my function for Z, that is your standard normal variate, will be Z equal to X minus 14 divided by 2.5. Okay. Now for the first question, where the value of X is, say 12, say X1, let us take X1 as 12 and X2 as 15. Find out the value for Z1 and Z2. There's some answer here. Advait gives us the answer as 0.4422. Okay. Mm-hmm. Advait, I think you should refer back to the table again and check the answer again. You're very close, but I think there's something wrong with the last two digits. Anyone else? Okay, Shaunit has given right. Shaunit answer is right. That is 443.5. So if you round it up, approximately, Shaunit, the first answer will be 444. Okay, so when you are writing number of students, because you cannot divide a student into point, half. So while writing the answer, write the answer as 444. So there are around 444 students who are scoring between 12 and 15. Okay, there are some answers for the next question as well. Great. So for the second one, between more than 18, right? We have scored above 18. Advait is giving as 0.5478. Okay. What else? Even Shaunit has given some answer. 80 point. Harsh Bakshi. Mm-hmm. Now, in case of Shaunit is giving the answer second question. For the second question, 55 is right. And 8 is for the last one. Okay, great. What about others? Only Shaunit, Advait, Harsh is giving answers. I hope others are also trying it out. So Advait is given the third answer as 8 students, right? Okay. I'm more interested in the last answer. So if you can solve the last one. Can we solve the last question? The last question is very interesting. It says how many scored 16? So x is equal to 16. But it's neither saying less than, equal, greater than, exactly 16. And one more thing we have to assume in the last question. So those who are trying to solve the last question, we have to assume that the fractional marks are rounded up to the nearest integer. Okay. So while taking the values, your 15.5 and above will be treated as 16. Okay. And 16.5 and less, or less than 16.5, will be also treated as 16. So taking these two ranges, that is between 15.5 and 16.5, we need to find the value or the probability. Okay, so this is the hint which I have given you. The marks are not given in decimal places and they are rounded up. And that's why we have, if we don't require a range, we cannot directly take single value and find the probability using the standard you can say normal curve distribution table. It's not possible. So the range which we'll be taking for the last question will be between 15.5, because 15.5 and above will be treated as 16. And the upper limit, you can say 16.5 or 16.4, whichever you feel like. If you take 16.5, you can also think about taking less than sign, or stick to less than equal to. Let us say you stick to less than equal to. So your probability function for the last question will be P into bracket 15.5 less than X, less than equal to X, less than equal to 16.5. So we are taking some assumption. Any answers, guys, for the last one? For the others, I'll just go through the first 3 questions. They can note it down if they have not done it. So for the solution, okay, this is the starting part. So we take XP marks scored by students in the given test. Mean is given by X bar equal to 14, and your standard deviation sigma is given as 2.5. N, capital N, is the total number of students, which is 1000. So your standard normal variate function for Z equal to X minus 14 upon 2.5. Using this, I can solve all the first 3 questions easily. Okay, in case of the first one, for the value of X equal to 12, Z is coming to minus 0.8. And for X 15, we are getting 0.4. Okay, that is something in chat for the last one. Okay, Advait gives 23 students. Okay, Advait, 23. If that is the answer for the last question, I guess it is not right. Please try again. Anyone else can also post the answer. Till then, this question here. Okay, one more answer in the chat. 771. Oh, no. Shonit, no, 771 is not the answer. Okay, tell me the value for Z1 and Z2 in case of, say, 15.5. If we take 15.5 x1, the value for Z1 will be 0.6, right? And if we take x2 as 16.5, then the answer, okay, Shonit gives me one more answer, 2 to 7. No. Okay, we have only 4 minutes left, so I'll just run through the first 3 answers. Okay, one more answer in the chat. 230, no, Shonit. Okay, it is very interesting, the last one. Okay, coming here, we got this answer as 444 approximately. So I think this one is clear. Let us take the second one. Even second one, you have to follow the same rule which we did. But you can see this, it is 0.5 minus the probability that lies between 0 and 1.6, right? So Z is greater than 0, but less than 1.6. For that, I'll be writing this. So we got 55. So the answer given was 55. One more answer from Advait is 383, which is also not right. Okay. Let's go ahead. And this was the third one. In case of the third one, we have to write for all the values less than 8. Okay, so how many students scored less than 8? Now, when we find the value of Z, we get minus 2.4. Using the symmetry property, we rewrite this probability function as P for the value Z greater than equal to 2.4. Okay, so your less than equal to will now become greater than equal to, and we'll remove the negative sign. Okay. Now this can be represented in terms of your zeros and infinity like this. And we get 0.5 minus 0.4918 as 0.0082. And when we multiply this by 1000, we get approximately the answer as 8. Okay, now comes the final solution. Now pay attention how we got this one. Now we have to do, as I told you, we have to do some assumption here. Okay, so assuming that the fractional marks are rounded off to the nearest integer, we have students scoring 16 marks equal to students scoring marks in the range of 15.5 to 16.5. Okay, that is what we are considering. In fact, if you want, instead of taking 16.5, you can also consider 16.4 because 16.5 should be rounded up to 17, right? So according to me, if you want, when you are solving this, try using x equal to 16.4 and not 16.5. Okay, even though I have done it using 16.5 here, please give a try using 16.4 and check whether we get some other answer. So my equation will look like this. Okay, so we have 15.5 less than equal to x less than equal to 16.5, which if I represent using the standard variate, okay, in z form, okay, that will look like this. So I can write 0.6 less than equal to z less than equal to 1. Okay, and this has to be represented in this form here. That means it is on the positive side. Both the lines are lying on the positive side. Okay, and it's some small strip in between somewhere. In between means in the positive side. And that's the reason we are performing the subtraction. So we have 0.3413 minus 0.2257, which gives me 0.1156. Okay, so we have this and this. Clear? So from 0 to 1, I check the whole area, minus from 0 to 0.6 will give me the area which is in between. And then the answer is coming to 116. That is my final answer. Okay, so all those who gave a try, just check it out where you made the mistake and we can rectify it. Clear? So we end the session for today here. When we come next, we are going to take up some new topic, again on probability distribution only, especially based the topic, statistical estimation is there and sample distribution is there.